So hi, what's good everyone? If you are interested in starting a brand or are a fashion designer and looking to rather establish your own design business, or if you're an entrepreneur that's just into fashion and you want to start something, then this is the video for you, right? So when you want to design your own product and sell it, the first thing you need to obviously do would be to design, right? So you want to sketch the items you want to sell, or if you don't know how to draw, that's fine. I also don't know how to draw, and I was a fashion design student. I'm a fashion design graduate. I have my own business, by the way, to tell you about myself a bit before I get into the content. I am a fashion designer. I've been running my business for 3 years. I registered my business with the CIPC on the 17th of January, so it's officially my year 3 now. But yeah, so this is based off my experience and just general tips I want to give anyone and everyone that is interested in starting their own brand. Cool. So you can sketch. If you can't sketch like me, then you can download images, or I usually, when I draw some really horrible sketch, and I have a sketch here, so I'll draw something like this, and then I'll just add as much detail as I can. So my sketches are filled with write-ups as opposed to drawings, right? But anyway, if you can't sketch, you can download images, right? And the second part to designing, you need to have technical drawings. If you're a designer, you know what technical drawings are. It's basically, if you don't know, it's basically like the same sketch but drawn more technically. If you can't do technical drawings, then you can just, like what I do, just make notes on the images that you've downloaded or sketches that you've done. What this does, it helps the person, which is in the next step, the person called a pattern maker, know what it is that they have to do, right? So for instance, you download an image, maybe a simple t-shirt, but you want like a baggy style, or you want a more fitted style. So you have to make note of that, so that the person that makes patterns for you actually does that, and they don't make a pattern the same as the image that you provided, right? Maybe you just wanted the image as reference to an item that you actually want, and not exactly what's on the image, right? So get the images, make as many notes as you can, or technical drawings as you can. And also with sketches, usually sketches are out of proportion, and sketches are more a fancier representation of what you want, right? And technical drawings or making notes will tell the person that, okay, I actually want these pants to be high-waisted, I want my pants to have a bootleg, I want it to have patch pockets on the side. So that's why sometimes you'll find technical drawings with side views, because there's probably details on the side of the garment as well, right? So you sketch and you just add a bit more detail to your sketches, and then you take your sketches and your technical drawings to a pattern maker, right? So if you're a designer, again, you can do the patterns yourself. If you cannot do patterns, you can outsource the work through a pattern maker. So again, as I've mentioned this before, you need all that information prior to going to the pattern maker, because they need as much information as possible to create a pattern for you that once it's sewn, it'll actually be what you want, right? So you can actually, if you can't do patterns and you don't really want to outsource like a person that does just one job, you can skip this step and then just go to a CMT. So a CMT would be a person that would sew the garment for you, just make the production for you. So most CMTs do offer pattern making services, right? And they might be upfront with you with this information, or they might not be, right? They might, I don't know, it depends on CMT to CMT. And you can also like have conversations with the CMT, right? So skipping the pattern maker step to get those services provided with you with a CMT, that way you bring the sketch, and then at the end of consulting with the CMT, you just have your garment or your sample all done without having that step of just having a pattern maker just do the patterns on your own, right? And then outsourcing CMTs. Cool. So tips on CMTs, right? you don't have to like sit on Google and search for CMTs in South Africa or Cape Town or wherever you are. You can literally go to a container, find a lady or a man that's able to sew, and that is also considered a CMT, guys. I have a lot of people that have hit me up just because they are under the impression that I'm a fashion designer. I am somehow can create magic more than the person that has a container in your local neighborhood, and they say that they can sew. Literally go talk to them, show them your image, show them your sketch, ask them, are you guys capable of doing this? Can I see the work that you have done before, and how much would it be to actually have this done for me? And would it be possible to have this garment done in different sizes and in so many units? Because what a pattern maker does is that they are able to, even with the CMT, but with asking the CMT, the container guy, the container woman, if they can make different sizes, what a pattern maker does is they are able to grade your pattern. So grading means the sizing up or down of a pattern, right? Let's say you bought a pattern maybe at a sewing shop, right? And that pattern comes in a size 10 only. Okay, that's a lie. You'll never buy a pattern that just is in one size. But say you are a designer. I think this is a better example. You're a designer and you are able to do your patterns, but unfortunately you cannot grade, right? You cannot size up and down the patterns, and you created the t-shirt and it's only a size 10, but chances are though your customers might be a size 12, one customer might be a size 40, and so on and so forth, right? A size 16 is equivalent to a size 40, right? So you want to be able to have this t-shirt in different size patterns. So that's what grading is. So make sure you ask the container lady or container man as many questions as possible to assess what their capabilities are compared to exactly what you want, right? So don't be under the impression that a CMT needs to be this big fancy company. You can be anyone, right? And the reason why I'm saying you need to communicate with these people and ask them questions, because I found a CMT, an old lady, right? And she was transparent with me and said that, listen, I'm an old woman, right? And I worked in a factory and I was sewing all the time, so I do have sewing experience. Like she literally has her own small CMT here in Delft, right? So she was upfront with me that I can sew the garments for you, but I prefer not to cut. And also it would be expensive for me to cut with her, because what they do is they charge to cut per panel. So my t-shirt has a front panel, a back panel, and like 2 sleeves. So she would charge to cut the sleeve, the front and the back, right? So I was like, okay, I understand that you're old and it's a pain for you to cut fabric because you have to bend and all those things, and also it would be expensive for me to have you cut the fabric, right? So I was like, okay, I'll cut the fabric myself and you can just assemble the garment, right? So make sure you have conversations with your CMT or whoever will sew for you, so that you both have an understanding and you can even cut costs through conversation, you know what I mean, and negotiate something, like have a common ground, right? So CMT, literally find CMT at auction. It also saves you money. If for me, say if I found a CMT in town, it costs 40 rand for me to go to town and come back, whereas the lady in Delft, it costs me 14 rand to go there and come back. So consider those things as well. Cool. So the biggest tip, if you are at this point, you are super serious about starting your brand, so I'm going to give you the biggest and most tip I think is important, and that is to implement a lean startup strategy for your business. The fashion market, clothing brand market is saturated. Everybody is making clothes. Everyone is, I feel like everyone is starting a brand. Like everyone is, you know what I mean? Everyone is pushing merch, you know what I mean? So you need to be smart, you need to play smart, you need to play safe. And with having a lean startup strategy, you can pause this video and Google search or watch videos on what a lean startup is, right? Cool. So what this means is start as little as possible, fam. Start with one item or one outfit or one look. Start with one outfit, one look, or two, or they have this fancy word in fashion called capsule collection, where you just have limited items. Do that, because you don't want to make like a full collection and then realize not even your friends want to buy this. Like no one, your product, your merch is not moving. Also, like with the CMT, you don't want to maybe go to a CMT and be like, yo, I want 50 of these t-shirts, and you only end up selling 1 or 2, right? Let's say, don't count the friends that bought, like people that were just discovered your brand, and you only sell 3, right? And maybe your friends just buy 10, but those 3 people are technically your real customers that discovered your brand, right? So you want to make sure that you start small, which is starting smart, right? So I'm gonna skip a few steps and just explain what the Lean Up startup does for you. So I was part of this program called Youth in Business, right? And they were teaching us, how to better our businesses, how to be entrepreneurial, and it's just motivating to have such programs for youth in locations like like Daft, Guguletu, and just small communities with a lot of Black youth, right? So I participated in that, and we had an example under the Lean Startup method where we had one company A and company B, right? And both companies wanted to offer people transport services to take you from A to B, basically. And the first company, they bought wheels, and they saved up for a year, and they bought let's say the inside of a car, because they wanted to build a car. And then they waited another year. In year 3, they bought the outside of the car. And then in year 4, that's when they were finally done with building their car and started selling. So from the first year until the 4th year, they were not making any money. They were just, dishing out money. They just had expenses, right? And the second company, company B, what company B did was like, okay, our end goal technically is offering people the mode of transport. So let's start and build a skateboard, right? There is a market that's going to buy a skateboard, and technically they've achieved their goal of offering people the mode of transport. It might not be a car, but it's a skateboard. And from the money they made from the sales of that skateboard, they then built like Landoman, that like scooter thing that doesn't have batteries. I don't know how to describe it, but they built like a scooter, right? And that scooter sold, right? And from the scooter they built a bicycle, and there are people that use bicycles to travel, you feel me? And then from the bicycle they actually built a motor like cycle, right? And from that they built a car. So throughout the entire years they were actually making sales, and they had a product. Do you get me? So what you want to do is start small. And what the Lean Startup does is you build a product or share your product or sell your product, and then you get feedback, right? So if you have this t-shirt and you sell it, right, someone's gonna say, okay, I really want a t-shirt, but I actually want a blue t-shirt, I don't want red. So you get information from your customers and you know what they want. And then once that's done, you go back to the drawing board and you're like, okay, this t-shirt sold. I sold 1 or 2 items, right? Because some people wanted the red, yes, but some other people actually wanted blue. So what I'm gonna do now is the next time I release t-shirts, I'm gonna add blue, right? That way, the way you are moving actually caters for the people that demand your product, and you're not just deciding on your own blind as hell that, you know what, next month or the next season I'm going to release orange t-shirts. No one said they wanted orange t-shirts. You're just assuming because this is your baby and this is your brand and your inspiration is saying do orange t-shirts. So you need to be mindful of who you're selling to your customers, and those are the people that are gonna give you some sort of direction as to what to do next, right? Also, this, like, compared to just releasing a full collection and having people not want it, now you make like an item and then you get feedback and you better your service. That way, the next time you release, more people are actually going to want your product, because there's evidence that there are people that want your product because of lean startup system and how it works. So you build, you gather information, and you go back and you build again. And when you're building again, you're building stronger because of that information that you got in the middle of your process. And you need to do that continuously to make sure that your brand becomes something like it survives, right? So okay, you start as little as one item, right? So you can make a t-shirt, make one outfit, make a jacket, make pants, anything, right? So I said make a product, wait to see how it sells. You'll get information from this. Say for example, you were making t-shirts for teens, and someone hits you up and then you realize that, no man, these are all the men and women that want these t-shirts, and maybe they want them for their church society. So now you know, okay, instead of making t-shirts that are for 13 to 14 year olds, you actually need to make t-shirts that are extra large and large and, you know, small, medium, right? So now you know, when you go again in the market, you give what your target market wants, right? Cool. So now let's say your product is ready, you've designed, you've consulted a CMT, and you have your jeans or your tops or whatever product you want to start with, or whatever outfit you want to start with, that's ready. Now you can follow what all the other videos on how to start a brand, where you get your product, you shoot it, you market it. Now you can do all those things, right? You can call your friends, they can wear it, you can shoot with your phone, you can maybe hire a photographer, or you have photography friends. Try and use connections as much as possible when you start up, right? Because I feel like chances are you don't have a lot of money to start up, and fashion requires a lot of money for you to start up. So make sure you are the type of person that can network with people. Make sure that the people you work with are in tune with your vision, are aligned with the vision, appreciate what you're doing, or somehow will be of benefit to them, right? Say if you contact Mhlambi, you're starting this and you're a student at the moment, and you want to like start a brand, Mhlambi, immediately while you're studying or after school or anything like that, or you're an entrepreneur, network with people, talk to people, make friends with photographers, make friends with models, or get photography students, and be like, if ever you have a project that needs you to shoot a model with clothes, contact me because I have clothing, right? So anyway, get a photographer or shoot with your iPhone, and start to market your garments. Use Facebook, use WhatsApp, use Instagram. Chances are you have like over 100 contacts on WhatsApp. Make sure you put those garments in your stories and give people details, right? But with social media, make sure that you use social media, the social media that you know how to use best. Don't just start a brand and have like a Twitter account, Instagram, Facebook page, have like millions of accounts that you might not be able to like utilize in the best ways possible. So what I use, I love Instagram and I love Facebook, right? So I make sure that I'm up to date with those two accounts. I even deleted my Twitter account for Afro Grunge because I was not up to date. I'm not really sure how I would use Twitter to benefit my business. If anyone has a strategy on how to do that, I'm more than happy to hop back on Twitter. But me myself, I am not positive, or I don't feel like I have any ideas on how I would use Instagram for the benefit of my brand, right? But anyway, make sure you choose a social media account that you know you can use well and are constantly on yourself. Also, you can create a website for yourself, like an online store. This is the best thing you can ever do, right? This also links up with if you have like an online shop or an online website, you can link the website to your Facebook page. You can also link it to Instagram, and then you can have like a shop section on your social pages, and people can click that and be redirected to your website to check out, right, to make the actual purchase on the garments that they want. Cool. So the reason why I say this is the great option is because, like, in 2017, like towards the end of my studies, I sold some of my garments from my school collection, and it was so difficult. Like, I actually didn't make much money from that. As much as I needed that money, I ended up losing money because I would travel to go meet up with people, and like times would overlap. Sometimes you'd meet with a person and realize that they actually don't want the garment, and then that would have resulted in no sale, and just me having traveled to that place and used my money. So it was tiring, even with like just having consultations with people and taking their measurements. I'd have to cough up my own money and whatnot and so on. So try and cut costs as much as possible, and that is through maybe selling through social media and making sure that your garments, you show them in a way that provides people with a lot of information. Wear it yourself, show people how it fits. If you're a size 10, this is how the t-shirt will drape. This is how my print looks. This is the size, these are the measurements, this is the length of the t-shirt, the width of the t-shirt. Make sure you inform your customers as much as possible, so that when they buy, they feel like they know what they're buying, even though they might not have physically touched it or having like physical access to it. Also, like, traveling a lot in 2021 with COVID is not really a great thing, so you want to make sure that you are safe as well and your customer is safe as well. And the safest way to transact now is through online websites or just buying online. But make sure, again, you share as much information of your product as you can, right, to make the transaction easy, right? So online websites, make sure you market the cheapest, most next to zero way as possible, right? And then you have your brand. But again, the most important thing with having a brand is making sure that the lean startup method, right? So you do all these things, you produce your garment, you shoot it, you put it online. I'm not going to go into how you could market, but I might make a separate video on how to utilize like Instagram for sales, or Facebook, maybe even WhatsApp. But I have more information on Instagram because I've used it to I even have another brand where I just sell t-shirts. I think that's why I'm always wearing like this t-shirt on my videos, or a t-shirt, is I have a brand where I sell plain t-shirts, and I've utilized that Instagram to just selling that product, and it works. So I might create a video on how to like use your your Instagram account in a way that will generate sales, even though you don't have a lot of followers, and even though you don't have like a following, or you basically no one knows you, right? You can still make money on Instagram. You just need to make sure that you follow certain steps for that to happen for you, right? So you have this one product, sell it, market it, share it, shoot it, make sure your friends post it or repost it on their stories, tag people, all of that. And then once that's sold, make sure you use that money and all the information you received from that to make another product and build that collection. Because a lot of designers or people in general just have this assumption that if I want to make a brand, let me just make this big ass collection. Nah, fam, build that. You can even build that over 2 years, build your collection over 2 years, build it over 6 months, build it over a year. You're still gonna have that collection, but now that collection, you have done it in a smart way. So if you felt like this information was great, please like my video. You can subscribe if you want more content like this. I am a fashion designer, so I'm going to be doing a lot more fashion centered content. I am also in the process of learning Korean, so I'm going to be doing a lot more Korean centered content. And I also teach Xhosa, so I have an Instagram page that teaches Xhosa. It's called @learning Xhosa, right? Also with my plain t-shirts, it's my brand, my Instagram account is called @unbranded t-shirts, and for my personal fashion label, it's called @afrobranch. But anyway, back to Xhosa. I'm also going to be teaching Xhosa. I'm just gonna give you an overview of what I do on social media in my life. And yeah, if you're interested in any of those things, please like again this video, subscribe, and tell anyone else who wants to start a fashion brand, people who even already have fashion brands but feel like they are not moving. I think the lean startup strategy is the best thing you can do for your business, any business for that matter. If you sell fruit, fruit day one, fam. If you sell toys, toy one, fam. Babantwana mhlawumbe uthengisela ii-toys abantwana, babantwana omama babantwana bayazithanda ezi toys. Thatha laa mali uthenge ezinye ii-toys. Mhlawumbe athi umntanam uyayithanda le toy qha ingase ibe nendawo ethambileyo because uyathanda uyibethekisa, mhlawumbe imbethe entloko, imbethe emzimbeni. Now you know you need to go back to your manufacturer and be like, my guy, here's some money, here's some information, now I want my toys to be a certain way, right? So don't just maneuver nje, maneuver smartly. Get the information your market is giving you, your customers are giving you, apply that and give them a better product. This means you listening to your customers is the best thing that you could do for your business. Making sure you cater for their needs is the best thing you can do for your business. And also the biggest misconception with designers is that, yes, I'm a designer, right? I have this vision, I have this concept, I feel the need to express myself and be creative, right? But you need to understand also at the end of the day, as much as you're creating, you're actually creating for other people as well. People that are going to wear your clothes, utilize them, they're going to feel a certain way, right? So if you are able to, you don't have to detach yourself from your brand or your work, but you need to understand that this is a consumer-based product, right? And people are going to wear your stuff. And you need to take them into account as well and understand that you're making this for people, right? Yes, that's all I have for today. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also follow me on my social media accounts at AfroCrunch, at Branded T-shirts, at Learning Xhosa. I am Anita Hlazo on Facebook. My profile picture has me with green braids. If you want my WhatsApp number, it's 0659737451. Contact me on weekdays, please. Bye. Whew. Yeah, let's have some successful brands, guys.